Hey everybody, real quick I'm going to give you some help if you're struggling with chord changes, and this would apply to any set of chords that I put on the chart. If we put E family chords or C family chords or any type of chords, these same principles hold true. I'm going to give you a way to effectively practice these and make your chord changes happen effortlessly. Let's take a look at the third finger in the G chord. Now of course you may remember from the earlier lessons, this is the big string, this is the little string, these are the frets. I've indicated the root note in red. What does our third finger need to do for the G chord? Of course it's got to be on the third fret. We're using our fingertip. It's got to be on the third fret of the big string here. You can see it in the picture. Okay, so when you look at the chord charts, always remember that it's just like you're looking at your guitar, just like this. Okay? Alright, for the D chord, where does our third finger need to be for the D chord? So, you know, in the G chord, it was here, but in the D chord, it's got to be here on the second string, on the third fret. So I'm just going to practice that part of these chord changes, trying to memorize the names of each chord and also where to put my third finger only for each one of these chords. Okay? So as you practice this, you may want to try to keep your fingers close to the fretboard as you practice the chord change, or for fun, maybe even keep your fingers on a particular string just for fun. But we've got to make this happen effortlessly. Let's take a look now at what the second finger must do for the G chord, and then what the second finger must do for the D chord. For the G, it's got to be here on the second fret of the fifth string. This is called the A string. Okay? But for the D chord, it's got to be here on the second fret of the first string. So why don't we just practice that? Why don't we just practice that part of the chord changes, trying to memorize the name of each chord. This is part of the G chord, and now it's part of the D chord. Okay? So you're probably catching on now to this new approach to chord changing. We're looking at what one finger must do. Now of course these X's mean that we're not going to strum these two strings of our D chord, but as you're practicing strumming these chords, if your pick happens to hit one of these strings, just forget about it. Strum again, try again. Don't let that sound stop you. If your fingers don't get exactly where they're supposed to be, don't let that stop your practice. Continue to try. Also, you want to try to make each string ring clearly. So once you've got all your fingers in place and you're working on that, you want to make sure that each string rings clearly by picking down on each string and making sure that each one rings. If you hear anything that isn't ringing clearly, then you want to figure out what that is. It's probably finger placement or maybe finger pressure. So I hope this new approach to chord practice, this accelerated approach, helps you work on all your chord changes. I recommend that you get a chord book, maybe a small one that you can keep in your guitar case, and always be working towards learning some new chords. Memorize everything you can about the chord, not only where the root is, but also the other scale degrees that make up the chord and where they're located, and the name of the chord and what the chord sounds like and what it reminds you of, and some songs that you can play with the families of chords. And I just encourage you to take good notes about your own practice and take good notes about your progress and track your progress with a chart. Make sure you're always trying to get better. So I hope that helps you, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks a lot.